Hi, welcome to Create Your Best Life with Rex. I'm Rex Sykes, and joining me today is going to be Mr. Danny Walsh. Now, we've got a whole new look to the show. It's a whole new retooled Create Your Best Life with Rex, and there's lots of goodies and more in store for you to come. But for now, I'm going to bring on Danny, and we're going to talk about what we're going to be doing in the future, but also who Mr. Danny Walsh is. Danny?
Hey, how you doing, Rex? This is great.
I'm so happy to be here with you and our audience. And Danny, Danny and I met a little while ago, been around each other for a while, and decided to do some things together, which thrilled me. To be able to work with Danny is an incredible thing. So, Danny, tell him a little bit about you. You're known for marketing. You're known for helping lots and lots of people. You've made tons of money on the end by doing different things. So let's get into and you're a family man. Most importantly, you're a family man.
Yeah, we've got a bunch. I've actually got 4 kids, so I'm like well into the family thing. But you've got to understand your why. It's like, why do we do this stuff online, and what is the end goal, right? So I've been doing this online thing for many years, and don't let the beard fool you, right? So I'm doing this stuff for a long time, and a big thing for me is all about helping people. And I guess I kind of figured out early on that if I'm going to invest in somebody's dream, it's nice if they invest in mine. Does that make sense, right? And I spent a lot of time working with people, but if we rewind to when I was like 18, I don't want to do the life story, but we set up a music business. We all wanted to be rappers and DJs and stuff. It was a lot of fun, but we didn't have any money, Rex. So we had to figure out, how do we put things on the internet? Because this was the .com time, right? Everybody needed these websites. Nobody knew how to build them. And I had to figure that out for myself real quick so we could do this, but we didn't have a lot of money. And
if I can interrupt you just for a second and keep your thought, that's true about so many people today. They're in that very same boat. And my guess, knowing you, is that's why you do what you do.
Yeah, I think I've got 3 basic principles in all of this. Is like, your number 1 principle is technology has to work, Rex.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like, hey, no technology, we're not on the video together. So you're in, the US right now, I'm in the UK, and we've managed to put this show together through technology, right?
Right.
How many people watching this are stuck on technology?
That's a great point. They're either kind of like myself, technology impaired, or they're victims of technology. They don't know what to do, or they are having to use technology that kind of runs their lives like constantly scrolling on their phone, but getting nowhere.
It's a big thing. And, I'm fortunate enough that I, built websites. We figured it out. We did graphics. We had to figure it out. We did video. We had to figure it out, right? So all of the problems, I had like DJs and artists going, Danny, we need to figure this out. And that kind of motivates you to do it, right? Some of these guys were, shall we say, there was a little bit unhinged, some of these folks. So there was a little bit of pressure to do some of this stuff in the beginning. Quite quickly, we got to teaching kids how to do this. And we had a big charity, and then that led to corporate work and writing policy, which I didn't like. So we went back to music. Everything, whether it was getting people into a charity event or getting folks to listen to a CD or a download of music, or getting people to like on Facebook and build a momentum, whatever it was, all of that needed the internet. And I had to figure it out.
Wow. What I really appreciate about that, first off, is the idea of charity and of giving to other people and helping them. And because not everybody can do what other people can do. And so they need somebody to either assist them or show them how to do it. So, I guess I want to take, and I know you do too, that, the injunction to heart, love your neighbor as yourself kind of thing. We're all in this together. So being able to use the technology in that way is amazing. And 2, the other thing is nowadays, you know, there's so many people are on the internet, and there's so much noise and so much stuff that they now are struggling to try and figure out, okay, now what do I do? How do I do it? How do I make an impact? How do I do the kinds of things that you've been doing?
Well, look, working in the corporate world, writing policy and trying to stick to a suit and tie job, there's, that's great, right? You've got to feed the family and pay the bills and all the rest of it. But I hated that because it's not about conforming. It's about things not getting done because there's a barrier in the way that's based on somebody's opinion who doesn't look through the eyes of the people, right? So they're trying to make a policy to help kids or whatever it is, and it doesn't connect with the community. It doesn't actually help anybody. It's more about feathering the nest for them, right? And making a big bunch of money for them, right? And I came across that so many times. I was like, this is not aligning with my values. That was difficult, but I also arrived at the realization that there's so many people in jobs that they hate with a boss that's not giving them flexibility to do anything. The internet is a mechanism for people to do what they love. And
that should be a bumper sticker.
Yeah, it's like give us, would you like to do what you love for the rest of your life, or would you like to do what you don't really like but you have to pay some bill and you don't even get enough money to pay the bill? Which one would you choose? It's like, we did DJing, we did fishing, we did art with kids and sports and all this fun stuff, right? Singing, dancing, the lot. And that's fun. Writing crap in an office is not fun. Your choice is yours.
Well, I mean, it's hard because you're subject to somebody else's rules. You're not able to necessarily fulfill your own destiny, your own purpose when how you earn your money is dependent on someone else.
I guess so, but I think the destiny and the purpose, if you've got something burning inside, this desire to help people, to make an impact, make a difference, change lives of folks, it's difficult to go into an organization that allegedly already does that and put your spin on it, because there's always layers of people, right? There's a board, there's a director, there's a chairman, there's whatever. You've got to go through the motions. If you're the janitor, the chances of you having that big impact on people's lives immediately is slimmer than if you went in as the CEO. So sometimes it's better to become the CEO of your own destiny, right?
Absolutely.
But then
that's great.
Technology must work so you can get that destiny out there and people can align to that vision. And look, over the years, we've worked with thousands of people, thousands of kids, had lots of fun. We've had ups and downs. More recently, I took a decision to stop helping people, to go build a business in fishing. We sold a bunch of fishing tackle. I love fishing. We did all sorts of stuff.
Talk about that because a lot of people don't understand the power of your presence, as a person, as your own CEO, in charge of your own life, your own destiny, using a technology that works to be able to reach people. You reached people and built yourself a good business selling fishing tackle.
Well, look, I was the guy that was building websites and funnels for everybody for years. I was on stage with Les Brown. I did a big bunch of cool stuff and speaking and all these things. It wasn't quite right because I didn't have my frameworks in order. I didn't have the exact plan. I just knew I was good at the technology part, right? But there's more than that. You've got to be able to get the right offer in front of the right people. That's the second principle. And you need to build and maintain relationships with folks, right? That's the third principle. So I applied everything that I knew and I went to validate, will this work for me? And I met Siobhan, who's up there, and we've got kids and a family now, fast forward 7 years. It's amazing. But at the time, it was lonely out there, right? And helping people fix their technology problems isn't the be all and end all. I knew I could help people in a bigger way. So I decided, what's the one thing that I like more than anything, which was fishing, right? And we go fishing for big fish, big carp in the UK. And I thought, I wonder if I could apply these principles and this framework to fishing. It's a really difficult industry. But I don't just want to be a fishing tackle shop, right? Because there's lots of fishing tackle shops. You can buy this stuff cheap online anywhere, right? I wanted to be the best shop with the best customer service and the best community. And that's what we.
That's powerful, though. I mean, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but that's powerful because your goal wasn't to just sell tackle; it was serving other people.
Yeah, and we switched the mantra from "we are just selling tackle" to "we are helping you achieve your fishing goals."
Love it. I love it.
So in the marketing, if I can help you achieve your technology goals, in the music, I can help you achieve your DJ goals, in the fishing, I can help you achieve your fishing goals. And we did that through a set of things. So we did that through access to the best products, through giveaways and fun stuff, through live information. So we had fishing challenges, right? Goal challenges, fishing goal challenge. Super cool. The main thing we did that through was community.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful.
So if you apply that to what we're doing right now, Rex and Danny want you to achieve your mindset goals, your online goals, your empowerment goals through community, through live streams. There's a good chance we can help you do that because we're not focused on selling you a bunch of stuff. The fishing tackle, they kind of needed that to achieve the goal, right? But that wasn't the core focus. And I think so many people get caught up on the, I want to be an internet millionaire and I need to just sell. But building a community means that people keep coming back and keep buying and they love you. And there's this big, beautiful thing that goes around that. And that's what we created. We had 20,000 fishermen in a big group on Facebook. We did lives. We did giveaways. Let's tell a little story real quick. There was a lady and her husband called Rita and Ian. And Rita made these dolls. And it was a freaky looking thing. She called it Fred. But she dressed it up in like a little hoodie and she gave a fishing rod. And she created this doll called Fred. And it was like our mascot. But she didn't just send us the mascot. And Fred went to Texas fishing. So one of the guys in Texas, a guy called Tommy, he had Fred and he took him fishing in Texas. And then they sent it back to the UK, right? Fred's done more air miles than the average folks, right? They send it back to the UK, this doll in this bucket. And they send it to another fisherman who then takes it fishing to somewhere in the UK, somewhere in Scotland. And we get all these pictures of Fred. He's got all these little tickets from the different places he's fished. He's sat there and in one shot, he's got like a bottle of beer next to him. Another shot, he's got the sunshine in the background. He's got his little fishing rod. This is their doll that somebody in our community has made for us. And after it's been around the world and it's been fishing with 20 people from our community, she brought it to our shop and presented it to us in this bucket. Now, people were buying us gifts and sending us things and doing kind things. The picture up there, one of our members actually took from our social media when we were fishing, printed it out on a canvas and presented it to us. You don't get that in your typical retail thing, right?
Right.
That's the point. People were making things, bringing things. There wasn't this retail or seller buyer relationship. There was a family connection between us and the folks we served.
That's so beautiful. I really love that. You know, I've been fond of saying for many decades now that, you know, when you're dealing with other people, if you want to connect with them, they need to know that their interests are in your heart. You know, that you're interested in helping them or helping them of connecting people with other people. You know, there's a thing I used to say a long time ago, and that was, you know, the sale isn't made until they buy a second time.
Quite.
Not because they buy, obviously, but because they come back because they got value from you. They know where to go when they need something important in their life. And you so exemplify that, and how you help people, how you build community, and what a great story. We need a Fred to travel around the world again.
I've actually got him, and we'll bring him on for another show, right? And maybe we have a traveling Fred. But the thing was, we got 20,000 anglers into our community, and we turned up live and we served them, and we did a big bunch of cool stuff with these guys.
Oh, that's great.
We took them fishing and we had events. So we didn't just sell stuff. We connected with them, got to know them. They brought us gifts. We all had fun. But behind me is a 2 Comma Club award that we did $3 million in sales selling the fishing tackle. They needed the fishing tackle to achieve the goals.
So let's stop and say that one more time. You sold $3 million in fishing tackle.
Yeah.
But because
of the community, because of the relationships we built, and the third principle that you've got to build and maintain relationships. One chap spent £35,000, which is $42,000 or whatever, on fishing tackle. That's a big old investment in your hobby. It got to the point where we couldn't actually sell this chap anything else because he bought it all. So we moved him.
I can't. I mean, that I got to say, that just stops me right there. Like for US dollars, $43,000 worth of fishing tackle. I'm like,
that's a lot of stuff.
Where do you put it? I mean,
where do you put it, right?
How do you use $43,000 worth of fishing tackle?
Now, the carp fishing is notoriously expensive because you fish with 3 rods at once. You go fishing for a few days. So you've got like what we call a bivvy, which is a tent with a bed inside so you can sleep. The rods go on electric bite alarms that beep when you get the fish. They're like $1,000 just for the alarms, right? So it quite quickly adds up. $1,000 a rod, $1,000 a reel. The bed, probably $600. The tent thing, $1,200. He bought the lot.
You got me there because, I think of fishing. I think of putting a worm on a hook and dropping it into the water. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. So, I mean, that makes more sense, though.
Yeah. Well, the way that we hooked the angler, because the fishing is a lot like the marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go out there and say, buy our stuff. We went out there and said, win some stuff. And we brought people in through a fish ball funnel, which is kind of like the old fish bowl that they would have on the countertop and say, throw in your business card, right? So you throw in your business card, maybe you win some stuff down the line, they pull out some name. We used a lot of that incentive, win things, get them on a live, nurture them in a Facebook group away from the prying eyes of the competition. And then we made the sales. And because we did it so well, they kept coming back and back and back and back and back. And you had that over 3, 4, 5 years. You've got ongoing continuity. Now, COVID, my desire to help business owners at large, having 2 small kids within a short period of time meant that role sadly wasn't ever going to be forever. And we away from that now, and I'm back in the marketing world. But I know that the concept works for me, works for you. We've learned so much. But these guys, we still take them fishing. We go a couple of times a year. We still have some product. My buddy Paddy is running the bait operation, which we still do. We still do giveaways. And it's a family for life. We actually tried to get rid of it and close it all down, and we couldn't get rid of these guys, right? They loved it so much, so they kept coming back. So that's like testament to what we achieved, but we never once set out to sell. We set out to serve. And that's the difference in what we do.
That is so beautiful. And for our viewers and our family members who are watching here right now, the very thing that you have done and accomplished and have helped other people to do, they can learn to do if they're not already doing it. And most importantly, though, are the 3 principles. Would you want to repeat the 3 principles in 1, 2, 3 order for everyone?
Technology must work. You put the right offer in front of the right person, and you build and maintain a relationship. But if you're caught on technology, you can't do the others. So you have to get over that hurdle. And that's where I help people the most, is being able to unlock that tech piece quickly. And then they're able to do what they should be doing and build those relationships. And that's where the value is. People say, hey, give value. Well, that's where it lives, in the relationship.
Absolutely. Well, and that's some of the stuff that we're going to do here. We'll have giveaways. Yes. We'll have challenges. We'll have opportunities for people, all sorts of different things that you and I are putting together for people. And it's based on Danny's model. I mean, this is the cool thing about it. This is so wonderful. And you get to participate with us. Danny, back in the early 90s, my company was a corporation called Idea Seminars. And we created a idea family, which
Mhm.
was for anyone who had done the training with me. I would answer any question as long as I'm on the planet, and we would stay in touch and be connected for that program. Obviously, I couldn't answer other questions from
Yep.
other programs because they hadn't been in the program. They wouldn't necessarily understand. But for any troubleshooting, any problems, anything that they wanted to accomplish, my pledge was I will always be there for you. I will always support you, whether we've
Yep.
been in touch every day or haven't been in touch in 20 years. And that's well over 30 years ago. And I still have people that are this family that we
Yep.
created. And that to me is so, it's not only wonderful, but it's just so important because I have connections with people, and sadly, many of them have passed away, and some we've lost touch with, but there are
Yep.
those who, I get to stay with, and somebody will, text me or email me or write me or call me and say, "Hey, Rex, can I ask you a question?" Or, "Hey, I want to share this with you." And that's, to have friends all over the world like that is really beautiful. And so,
Yep.
the most important thing to me, I mean, I get, technology has to work and you got to make an offer to the right, you put the right offer in front of the right people. But that community, that connection, that family, because we're all people on the planet. And that to me is the thing that makes the most sense. And then fill it in with those other things.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Without a doubt.
no, I know that that's what's important to you and what drives you. So that's very cool.
You've got AI, right? So technology just works even easier now. It's like the technology is not even the big barrier to a lot of us anymore because the AI will do a video or an image or write your emails or whatever if you use it in the right way. We'll get into some of that as we move through the program. We've got some amazing guests, and it's interesting to see how technology's evolved, but the principles stay the same. And if you're a faceless business selling things, generally you have terrible customer service in that process. You ever bought something from a faceless company and you phone the company up and you're like, "Oh, I need help," and it's like, press 1 for the robot, press 2 for the other robot, hold, and somebody does come on the line eventually and they don't care about you really very much. They're just like, "Oh, send us an email, sir," or whatever it is, and you think, "Oh, I've spent thousands with this company and I just need some help." That isn't conducive to building a relationship, in my opinion, right? So technology and taking away the face of a business is probably not where we want to be going if we want to be successful, especially right now at this point when we're recording this.
By the way, for people who are watching, if you're getting value from what Danny and I are sharing with you today, why don't you go ahead and put something in the chat? Go ahead and leave comments wherever you're watching this and say, "Yes, I am," or "Wow, that's great," or whatever it is. Or, if you have questions, you can leave questions and we'll answer those questions, afterwards, but, as we find them. So go ahead and leave some comments or some likes or share it out so other people can also benefit.
Without a doubt. And I think sharing makes the community go around, right? So if you're getting value from this, you leave some comments, you go and share it, you can invite people. We've got the community as well. All the links will be around this video. If we can answer them, we will. And we've got guests and excitement and goodies and giveaways and stuff, Rex, right? So enough about me. What about you and what we got and what's coming up? Because this is the beginning of the journey.
This is the beginning, and I'm glad that we're doing it together, and it's really cool because we're on both sides of the pond. We're taking things into account that we're reaching around the world. If you hear some noise, that's my beautiful dog Sasha sneezing in the background.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good.
Keep
So,
it moving.
Go ahead.
Keep it moving. Let's think about some of the things we've got to come, but also ask people, I guess, what they want to see as well, Rex, because again, we're not just saying we're dictating what's going on. We've got a plan. We're going to stick to it, as Les Brown says. But if you guys, we'd really like to know more about this or find out about this or ask a question, then let's go. Let's do it. Get into the discussion.
So, in terms of guests, there's no shortage of guests. And if you've watched this show in the past or my other shows, or my podcasts, which have mostly to do with filmmaking, that I have celebrity guests of all sorts: thought leaders, authors, speakers, actors, filmmakers, producers, directors, people like Danny, who's very skilled and knowledgeable in creating these systems, these working systems for people to be able to use to work for themselves as opposed to working, being the corporate person. And there's nothing wrong with being a corporate person if that's what you want to do. But as Danny said, if you have a love that you want to do, then you can do it this way, through technology that works, through putting the right offer in front of the right people, and through building a community. And so we're doing that. And we've got just a whole bunch of amazing speakers coming up, or amazing guests coming up. And I have maintained, in my years of doing this, that's when I first started, just so you know, and what fascinated me so much was the placebo effect. And in the 90s, I was often ridiculed or made fun of because I said in the early 90s, our goal is to consciously use the placebo effect to great effect. In other words, to take this power of belief that has been demonstrated to help people, heal themselves or change their lives or move forward in ways that they never thought they could otherwise, to take that and to use it deliberately, intentionally, in order to get the kind of results that we want. And people go, oh, well, that's silly, that's crazy, the placebo effect. Nobody, even doctors in the 80s and 90s were going, the placebo effect. If somebody came in and said, hey, I healed myself and I used this, and by the way, a placebo is not the placebo effect. That this is a different thing. But anyway, they would say, well, that's just a placebo, as if it didn't mean anything. But and back then in the 80s, there were just a handful of research studies on the power of beliefs, or the power of visualization, the power of affirmations, the power of placebo, and being able to heal yourself or to have a breakthrough because you've changed your mindset. Well, now, all these years later, there's over 45,000 studies that demonstrate and that say this very important thing, that attitude is the number one predictor for success in all areas of your life. So if you don't think you can, you won't, and if you think it's impossible, you probably never will. But if you think you can, and then you think you might, and then you decide that you will, then obviously you could and you can, and you could have great results. And that starts from within. That starts with how you think about the world around you and how you think about yourself. So attitude is the number one predictor for success in all areas of your life. How to be happy, healthy, wealthy, successful, how to overcome difficulties and limitations of all kinds. And so this show with Danny and me and our guests will be addressing that very aspect so many times in many different ways to help you get healthier, happier, wealthier, and just have more fun, and to be able to connect with the kind of people you want to connect with in life, to be able to live the dreams that you want to be able to live, and to feel good about yourself as well as other people. And so the goal of Create Your Best Life with Rex is to create your best life with Rex, so you can live life on your terms, create the life that you want. So, Danny, Danny.
Super cool.
So, we have a number of ways of doing that and of inspiring you. And in fact, we've even talked about having live events sometime in the future as well, because why not get the family together?
It's important. And I think, again, AI takes that away. You can sit behind a computer all day. There's nothing better than being in the room, in proximity with like-minded folks, right? And Napoleon Hill, you can take some of the books, you Think and Grow Rich and different things. We'll get into some of this stuff. But we talk about the power of the mastermind, right? And to be able to be in a room and to unlock the thinking of other people is very, very powerful. And you can't sometimes do that on a Zoom or a stream or whatever. But there's enough knowledge in your circles that is often left untapped because people don't ask the right questions. People are sometimes afraid to ask the question. And like you just said, it sometimes is what if? It's like, well, what if we actually, and then things can start to happen. When I did the talk with Les Brown years ago, it was in Kingston, Jamaica, the presentation was one conversation away, right? So if we didn't have a conversation, Rex, we won't be here now. But there's so many folks who are afraid to have a conversation in case somebody says no or it doesn't go their way. It's like, let's shift the thinking a little bit. So yes, we're here. And we've got ideas and plans and stuff, but we need that dialogue with you folks as well. Chat room is just the start.
Absolutely. So again, comment in the chat, like, subscribe, so that, and by the way, if you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you're always notified when the show is going to be streaming live, so that you can watch it, or you can share it with your friends, or both. There's an interesting thing, and that is that energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed, and energy is the same energy everywhere. It's equally distributed. It's timeless. The same energy that we had from the beginning, if there is such a thing as a beginning, to the end of time, is all the same, here, there, and everywhere. And if you're in a room with people, like when you get together with a class of people in a room, you have a greater ability to feel that energy. For example, have you ever been in a situation where you're in a room and you're talking to some people, and some angry person comes in behind you? They're silent. They're not yelling or ranting or raving. You don't even know because of any sound that they're there. But suddenly you feel this presence change inside the room, and you like, what was that? And you turn because you can feel it. You've been affected by it. The same thing is true if somebody very charismatic comes in, somebody who's just, and by the way, charisma is the ability to have all the energy, available to you, but not being frenetic. This isn't charismatic, but having that presence. So you're talking to somebody, and all of a sudden somebody with great charisma walks in, and you go, wow. Well, you know what? You can experience that on the internet because energy is the same everywhere. So even here in our show together, while you're watching, you can have that experience if you are available to it, and not many people are. That's the difference, just because of our mindset, because of our beliefs. We think, well, this is different than that. And to some extent it is. I mean, frankly, it is. So that's why we do live events. That's why we do online events. But understand that the value that you get transcends limitations and transcends boundaries and transcends the pond from which Danny and I are communicating across, and to reach out to you wherever you are at whatever time it is for you watching this.
Yeah, and if you're on the replay, you can still get that same energy. And we want to know if this is what you want, but also what you're getting out of this. And if there's a big thing about watching a webinar or a seminar or a live stream or whatever, the most important thing is you take that information and you go and do something with it.
Absolutely. Well, knowledge is never power, but the application of knowledge can be power. There's a Bible saying, by their fruits or by their actions, you will know them, as well as if you know to do something, but you don't do it, you don't really know it, because you're not applying it. You're not using it. So it's potential. And what we want to do with you is to help you actualize all of your potential. But to do that, we also want to communicate. We want this to be more than a one-way street, to you. We want to have it interactive so that we can best address whatever your interests are, and how we can best add value to you. So absolutely.
There's a big thing about that value thing. And I said it before, I'll say it again. People say, just give value. What does that actually mean? And it's important that we explore that as we move. So yes, we are turning up with your interests at heart, and we're looking at through your eyes, and we understand that the folks that are watching this are able to receive information that's actually practical and they can go out there and use, whether it's technology stuff or mindset stuff, business stuff, or just a golden nugget from a guest.
Right.
It's, this is what we want to do.
Well, and it's important too, because there's so many people out there selling by telling, hey, I've got the best thing ever. This is great. Without ever finding out if the person's interested in it. So I have, for example, I've been in the film business since I was a teenager. I'm a Screen Actors Guild member, I have been all these years. I pay dues. And a lot of times people are so interested in having a career that when they meet somebody who could do that, a director, an actor, a producer, a writer, somebody who has the wherewithal to maybe help them, instead of saying, how can I best connect with this person with rapport and add value to them and demonstrate to them that, I'm not just after something. I don't know about you, but every day, and I know Danny, every day I get stuff on the internet going, hey, how would you like this? How would you like that? How would you like this? I do this, I do that, I do this. And they're telling me, but no one's ever really asking me, is this something that you're interested in? And so we want to ask you, what are your interests? We do want you to speak from your heart so we can speak back from our heart, and not just be, providing you with things that we think are important, but actually responding to what you think is important so that we can best accommodate that, best add value to that. Because otherwise, we'd just be telling it. We'd just be, it's like a movie playing here. You put up a poster, goes coming on Tuesday, right? Well, we want to know what you'd like on Tuesday, not just what we have to offer on Tuesday. And there you are, Dane.
100%. I think that is a different concept, but it comes back to like what we did with the fishing, what we did with the music, what we did with the children's charity. Everything's based around consultation. And you could take that concept and apply it to your own mission, your own goals, what you want to achieve in life, the impact that you want to have. How do you know what to give folks if you don't ask?
I want to ask you a question. Did I just interrupt you?
No, not at all.
So many people, I think in terms of the internet, and email marketing or whatever, as like taking spaghetti and throwing it at the wall, and then whatever sticks to the wall is they found their tribe. Mm-hmm. As opposed to, am I making sense? Yep. You had your second principle is putting the right offer in front of the right people.
Yes.
And yet there's more to that than meets the eye, right? Because to know that there's the right people means that they express an interest and you meet the need. I mean, you are presenting so that they can come, but can you explain that a little further so that people, because so many people go, I want to build my tribe. I want to build my tribe. I'm going to do this stuff. And again, they're pushing rather than.
Yeah. You can't do things to people. They will only allow that to a degree. And then they feel like, for example, some bosses, they went off into a dark room and they came back out and said, hey, everybody, we figured out your values. Like that, it doesn't work like that, right? That's there's been folks in history who've told people exactly what they're doing and it didn't bode well, right? So there's this give and take thing, there's this conversation. But there's also the easiest way is like, hey, let's not sell meat to the vegans, let's not sell fishing stuff to the golfers, because people have already put themselves into a category that things that they love doing and things that matter to them, their values, their habits, their goals, their objectives, and you've got to get the alignment. So when you put the right offer in front of the right people, we often talk about an avatar, and folks will go, hey, I'm looking for 35-year-old men who live in England who drive a certain car, and that's going to be my dream customer. It's a lot deeper than that. And you've got to understand what makes folks tick. And the best way to understand that is by immersing yourself in the things that you actually deliver and kind of be a product of the product, right? So we see this in affiliate marketing. You get some stuff, you try and sell it, doesn't work, you get some more stuff, you try and sell it, and you're on this very limited avatar without much consideration to who that person is and what makes them tick and what their values are. And you just continually, like you said, throwing the stuff against the wall until something sticks. You don't get consistency and you don't get continuity doing it that way. So you have to really back up and look at things through the eyes of the people, right? This is why we've always had very high engagement, whether it's music, community work. Some of these communities, people they would hurt the community worker. They would chase them out of town because they didn't want the guy in the suit in their neighborhood asking questions. Does that make sense? Oh, but if you go in there and you dress like the people and you talk like the people and you understand the people and you're empathetic with the people and you've got a vision for the people that they would naturally buy into, who's going to win? The dude with the clipboard who's trying to force things and dictate, or the person who's kind of in there at the grassroots level who wants to grow with the community? And there's two different sides to consider. If you're going in looking through the eyes of the people and you're one of the people that you're there to serve and you're a product of the product, you've probably given yourself better odds of being successful. People might not see the mountain, they might only see the mist. As a leader, it's up to you to see the mountain. This is where we're going. They don't know that yet. All they know is there's some misty stuff in the distance, but this guy's going to take us there. Is that kind of making sense? Because it's a big old topic.
Chat, comment.
Yeah, oh, I've got the questions.
Well, in the '90s, I still do, but in the '90s, I consulted for some high profile trials, criminal cases mostly. And in one case, we were in a small town and with two very high profile, very rich, attorneys, the defense attorneys. And then there was the prosecuting attorney who was from the small town.
Yeah.
But he dressed impeccably so. Anyway, the defense attorneys all dressed down, and to try and match the culture so that they're we're not different, we're not the high profile rich guys coming in and we're just like you, except their message wasn't anything like them.
Yeah.
And this was the important thing, in terms of creating rapport. They tried to look like the people, but they didn't bother to speak like the people. And by speak, I don't mean the words that they use or their accent or anything like that. I mean, they didn't speak from the heart. They didn't come from a place of, hey, this is a community and here's these people and here's the tragedy and here's how the people are connected and have a sense of what was going on. They didn't have rapport with the culture or the people in that culture. And so, everything was pretty askew. I bring that up only to say that there's a lot of people out there, they dress for success and they get you all, geared up, and they tell you have to work really hard and take massive action, do all these things and sacrifice and struggle. And if you don't take risk, and I think that they're wrong. I mean, I know that they're wrong because, in other words, there's a lot of people whose the destination for people is I want to be happy and I want to be rich and I want to have all these things. But I've been around enough people who are billionaires and millionaires who I've worked with and consulted with, who've been my friends or whom I've met, who got all the way up there and then go, I have all this stuff, but I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. And I don't really feel successful. I feel alone. I feel, who I am doesn't reflect all the stuff that I have. And I bring that up because the only thing we have is the journey. The destination is like, if I want to go to New York from where I am, I want to go to New York, I may or may not get there. How I get there is so important then, because if I don't get to New York and I get somewhere else, will I enjoy it? If I die before I reach my goals, or if something prevents me from getting those goals, how did I live my life? And what you do, Danny, is you help people connect that, the idea of community. You're a family man. You talk about your children. You have a way of connecting with people and showing them that what's really important is this moment and how you use this moment and how you're happy now and healthy now and wealthy now and successful now, doing the things that you can do by applying the things that you can apply so that each day is more fulfilling and you're not putting it off sometime in the future. You're not waiting for your destiny to be fulfilled. You're being fulfilled in this moment.
Without a doubt, you've got to love what you do, right? And there's nothing wrong in saying I don't want to do this anymore because it's not fulfilling. And some people, they'll stay in the job. We went to the ClickFunnels conference, right? So there's a big conference. ClickFunnels do this, and everybody who gets a 2 Comma award, they put your name on this big old pathway that leads to the conference hall. So I think there's 2,500 people who've made $1 million or more in the ClickFunnels thing, right? So that's cool. And on this literally the walkway to the room where the conference takes place, they have this 2 Comma Club walk, and they've got these huge stickers. I would not like the job of aligning all these things and putting them in order. That's a different story, right? And as you're walking along, it's literally 100 meters, 100 yards of stickers on the floor with people's names on who've achieved one of these awards, right? So as the conference is due to open the next day, and I'm walking back from the conference room. I've been talking to a few folks. It's not quite open yet. People are still arriving. And there's this dude stood there looking down the 2 Comma Club road. And when you kind of catch somebody's glance and they look at you, and I'm like, hey, how you doing, right? Because I'm Danny, and that's the kind of thing that I'm likely to do. And he said, can you just explain to me what all of this is? He's like, why are all these names like stuck to the floor on these vinyl stickers, right? The guy thinks, what is this thing? And I said, look, each one of these names represents somebody who's made $1 million or more with the software from the company that's doing the exhibition, right? And I work for these guys, and I'm part of this thing, and it's really exciting to me. And my name's on there somewhere as well. And I kind of pointed out my name. I was dead excited. And he's like, whoa, $1 million per thing. I said, you go further up, and some of these guys have done 10 million or 100 million, right? So he gets to, you're like, wow, this is amazing. And he said, well, tell me more. And I explained a bit about the conference, and he's like, wow, that's totally amazing. I said, what are you here for? You know, it's like, kind of, right, well, I've told you much. It's not about me. It's like, what are you here for, buddy? And he said, I'm at this boring conference where we're talking about medical technology, and I'm a salesman for this company, and I'm retiring soon. This is actually going to be my last ever conference. And I'm a little bit mad with myself that I didn't ever set up my own business. And I'm like, oh man. I said, what? Well, why was that? What was your dream? What was the thing that you wanted to do? And why can you not still do it? I'm trying to encourage this guy. And he's like, I'm too old for this now. I'm retiring soon. I've got some money saved. We've got a cruise planned. Then we're going to do up the house and, you know, the usual stuff. But I've no time left to do this thing. And I said, well, what was it? What did you want to do? And he said, I wanted to help young men who have lost their way in life. And I wanted to guide them along a new path through sports and music and all these things. And I'm thinking, man, I used to do that like 20 years ago, right? And I'm like, look, there's still time. And when you retire, you can put some money into it and you still got hope. And he said, I'm out of time. And he was looking down the 2 Comma Club Road. And then somebody shouted him, you know, Dave, like the conference is starting again. And at that moment, Rex, he turned and he headed back to the conference room. And as he just got to the door, he took one last glance at the 2 Comma Club Road and went back into that door for the last conference, for retirement, for telling himself that that's it. The dream is over. And at that point, when he walked through that door, his 2 Comma Club Road dream died. And that was like sad. And I'm like, come back, dude. We'll get you a ticket. And he's like, I'm too old. There's no time. I can't possibly do it. I'm going back in now. And I won't be coming down this road ever again. That's like not that's not where you want to be. And it was sad.
Right. No, it is sad. And again, I mean, that's why attitude is the number one predictor for success in all areas of your life. Because if your attitude is it's over, it's too late for me, I'm too old, or I'm too young, or I don't know enough, or I could never do it, or I don't have enough money, or I don't have the time, or whatever it is that you say to yourself and or to others, you live by the sword and perish by the sword kind of thing. Live by, you know, we perish by the words that we speak sometimes, and we need to be.
If the guy didn't shout him, I was literally at the point in the conversation of saying, ditch the boring conference, come to this thing and let us show you where the road leads.
Yeah.
He went back, and there's this like, don't go back, because something inside him was burning that he wanted to help these young men. And how many lives were not saved because he chose that?
That's a huge question. Wow. That is powerful. How many lives were not saved because he chose a different path? How many lives that you want to help aren't being helped because you got an excuse? Wow. I mean, that's thinking larger than yourself. I mean, that truly, what can I do? What do I bring to the world? What mission do I live? And what can I do to help others? That's powerful, Danny.
He went back. But how many folks right now watching this is stood on the end of the road that leads them to a success, or to the helping others, having the impact and doing the thing, and then they're going to turn and go back? But I'm saying, don't. Why? Don't stop. Hold on. Take that dream and go a step forward. Who can you talk to, right? You talk to me, talk to Rex, talk to one of our guests, talk to somebody on social media. You can connect with anybody in the entire world, and you're one conversation away from that but something inside you goes, I'm too old, I'm over this, it's never going to work, it's never going to, you need to ignore that thing, because that's not just you, that's everybody gets that thing, right? It's this show that we want to try and give you that. Is it permission, Rex? Is it a green ticket? Like, yes, you can do it. We would cheer you on from the sidelines. But if you're stood at the end of that road looking down and you want to go down that road,
well, we want to be there for you and to help you and assist you in whatever way we can with what it is that you want to accomplish. But what Danny also, the story, what you tell also demonstrates the power of that one decision and how in an instant your life can be changed for the better or not for the better. You can stay the same, which is what so many people do. They perpetuate what's going on already instead of doing something new and different, or shifting into the mindset that I can and will do this. You know, Henry Ford said, you know, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're correct. But he said something else that I always quote that is, to me, an even more important quote, and that is, I never let what I cannot do prevent me from doing what I can. And so the idea is that, you know, every one of us at different times in our lives, or even in this moment, have an opportunity. We're at a decision point in our life. And then the question becomes is, which decision do you make? I always do it this way, Danny. I go dog shit or diamonds, dog shit or diamonds. You know? And sadly, too many people wallow in dog shit because they don't know any better. And so they keep choosing the dog shit over the diamonds when they could make that other choice. And that's not to judge anyone. That's not to say anyone isn't doing what they know is best for them at the time that they're doing it. It's not about belittling anybody for the decision that they make or the one that they don't make. But it's saying that when you face that moment for yourself and you go, you know, I really like to do this, what happens next? And if you're going to jump and you don't have a parachute, but if you jump and you know there are people around to catch you or to support you or to help you or to point you where to land, then you at least you have a community, or you have some brothers and sisters who are also interested in your well-being. And that's what we would like to help you with.
Well, that, and look, people get caught up in belief, right? But you can't believe something that you know, because if you know it, it's not a belief anymore, right? Belief's like a doubt. So if you know something for certain, then you don't need to believe in it anymore because it's fact. But if you're believing in stuff, that can take you in different directions because you don't know what the certain, like, the outcome is, right? So you could believe in, you know, I'll tell you some stuff, you believe in that until you see it for yourself. You're like, oh man, all this time, and I believed that and it wasn't true. So you're never going to know until you get out there and you actually experience it for yourself. And you're never going to experience anything if you're making the reserved decision that always says it's too late, I can't do it, I'm too old, it's never going to happen. They're beliefs. He believed he was too old, right? But he wasn't. But he would never know until he gave up the belief and he actually did the thing. And it's a weird notion, but sometimes your beliefs hold you back more than they propel you forward. It's the certainty that I'm looking for. And you can always stack the odds in your favor, and you can always edge the bets or understand that there's, you know, a good likelihood that if we do this, this next thing is likely to happen. But until you throw yourself into it, you'll never know. And it'll always be a belief, good or bad. Time to make a shift.
No, I love that. You know, I've taught Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich for well over 40 years. And one of the, you know, it always says, you know, what does it start with? It starts with, you know, a burning desire or the clarity of a definite chief aim or purpose, you know, but if you have a definite chief aim or a purpose, must become a burning desire, or what Hill would say, it becomes white hot obsession, meaning you're devoted to it. You love it. It's your passion. And from there, he says, you must develop the faith. Now, I hate the word faith because of the connotations of religion and everything else. Like, as you pointed out, to believe something means that there's a doubt present. You know, it's kind of, and people go, what? If I believe it, it should be. Well, think of a coin. It has the heads and the tails. Both sides are part of a coin. You know, so if you have a strong belief, you may also have a doubt. Like a battery has a negative pole and a positive pole. Birds have two wings in order to fly. So for me, it's always been, and that's why I love you, Danny, is that you have to, Hill said, you have to develop the faith. But what he's really saying is you have to develop the certainty that you not only can do it, but that you will do it, that you intend to do it, then you commit to it. And that passion and that certainty, that commitment is what helps you persevere through it. You don't start with perseverance and by trying to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You develop the attitude first by developing the desire and the passion and the certainty that you can do it. That's a mindset thing. That's a heart thing, and that also is how you then take action. So but taking action is not nearly as important as taking the right actions. And when your mindset and heart are aligned, you're more apt to take the right actions for yourself than otherwise. Yes, Danny.
It's also a sales thing as well, though. You want to sell some products, right? People don't want a million PDFs or a video or some. They don't even they didn't want the fishing tackle. They wanted the big fish. They don't want the drill. They want to hang the thing on the wall. They didn't want garden furniture. They want the family around in summer. They don't want spend ages doing stuff in technology. They want the outcome. They want the result, right? But people want certainty and they want transformation. So don't sell some means to get there. Sell the end thing, right? So it's like if you're believing stuff right now, and I can tell you for certain, the belief goes away and you know that it's a good decision and this is certain, this is 100% likely to happen. Do you want to buy a belief or do you want to buy certainty? I can give you lots of beliefs, but you don't know if they're true until they're certain, right? So once they're certain, they're no longer beliefs. So if I just say, look, don't believe in it, it's real, it's there, and there's the burning proof, you can move along a lot quicker and so can your customers, but you've got to kind of reshape it a little bit in your mind. And that's what we hope to do over the next coming weeks and months. And let's debate that. Let's keep coming back to that, Rex, because we've dropped gold on gold on gold. People will be sat there going, I just don't get it. That's a belief, right? Rewind it and watch it again.
Absolutely.
Don't turn away from your dream. That's the big message, I think.
So let me ask you this. Has this been valuable? Do you liking this? And again, if you do, comment, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, do something, give us comments, give us questions. Let us know what you want and how we can best serve you. We've got goodies coming up. We've got giveaways coming up. We've got maybe live events coming up. We've got guests of all different kinds coming up. And in between, there's Danny and I, and doing just what we're doing right now and more. So if this is something you like and you want, go ahead, subscribe, hit the notification so you're always notified when we're going to do this. And Danny, we are getting close to that time. I mean, normally the show will run about an hour. I don't know where we are at this right now. We might be over that. But,
57 minutes. So we've got 57 minutes. We've got 2 minutes left to wrap this up. Time flies when you're achieving your goals and helping people, right? There's a message in that somewhere as well. Rex, if you want to wrap this up, we're live every Wednesday. It's amazing. We've got guests and all this cool stuff. We can't do it without you guys watching, and we need your comments, we need your feedback, we need your anything, whatever you want to give us, right? Because we can get that and we know that it's real. And when it's real, we can work with stuff. You can only work with what's real. Rex, there's that. Put that on a t-shirt, right?
And he is the man. I love being with Danny here on the show. I'm so glad we're bringing this to you. It's a whole new Create Your Best Life with Rex. And so we're excited about it. We're going to do our best to deliver everything and more to you. And I love you, and Danny loves you. And I'll just close by saying this: Life on Your Terms, my book. I think everybody should have that book. And the reason why is because there's tips and methods and suggestions and practices and principles that you can use to transform your life. Now, if you get the book, you go to rexsikes.com/book. You can get it wherever books are sold. But if you get it from Amazon, the softback or the hardcover book, then what I will do is I will gift you. You go to that website that you see right there on your screen. I will gift you an online training on mastery. What is mastery about? It's how you get mastery over your fears, or get mastery on your certainty, get mastery over your talents and your abilities and your skills, or anything you want to master in life. This is the beginning of the process. And it's a $497 valued online training that I'm going to give you as a bonus just for getting the book. And you know what? If you go and do that right now, you'll get the training before you get the hard copy book delivered to you from Amazon. But it's at rexsikes.com/book. And also visit me at rexsikes.com anytime, anywhere. You see what we have there to offer. And I want to bring Danny back, but I want to say that we've enjoyed having you. And this has been a wonderful opportunity for us to meet with you. And if we haven't connected with you yet, if you leave a comment or you reach out to us in some way, then we can respond and we can get back to you. And so we hope you will. Danny?
It's been a pleasure. It's been amazing. We're bang on the hour. we'll see you next time. And it's like, see you next Wednesday. There was a famous director, right, who used to say that stuff. We won't get into that, but look, it's been amazing. Rex, pleasure as always. Long
Pleasure as always. And
Let's-
as I always say, if you consider something a problem, it's a problem. If you consider something a blessing, it's a blessing. So celebrate everything. And
Let's celebrate.
Danny, thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you bring to the world and to the people. And you're going to learn more about Danny all the time.
Let's go. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much, folks. We look forward to answering your comments, your questions. See all that stuff that's in the chat. We'll get round to it. Rex, you're amazing. I'll see you on the next one. Everybody, we're gone.